Well, let me start talking about where the terminology comes from. So when we talk about advertising, it uses war-like terminology. So we talk about strategy, we talk about tactics, and we talk about a target, right? We're trying to target an audience. So in the same way that what is happening now is black ops advertising parallels what's going on in the military aspect, which is that the military is more covert in how they do what they do. And it's the same thing is happening from the advertising front. Academics have done research, and by and large they have demonstrated over and over and over again that people don't recognize native advertising. They don't know they're engaging with advertising content. And it's not just, we think about this as happening an awful lot in the digital space, and it's not just online. It's also happening on television. It's also happening in newspapers and magazines and so on. People aren't trusting information from journalistic providers, but it's also that they don't know whether or not the content that they're engaging with has an advertiser behind it. And also what's happening in research is that they found that the negative impact of native advertising impacts publishers more than it looks badly on advertisers. So it's the New York Times that is going to get a bad rap for using native advertising. It's not going to be Coca-Cola. And so particularly when it comes to native advertising wants to look as much like journalism as possible. And so people who've been working as journalists are able to make this advertising look exactly like a piece of editorial content. On the positive side, what a lot of journalists have done is disappear from traditional newspapers and start to create their own sites. And I think about what's going on, particularly in the United States right now. The middle class has all but disappeared. Nobody's talking about who's going to have the money to buy these products. And I don't know that anybody has an answer to that question, and that's a big concern for me. I mean, people look at Henry Ford as the great example of what to do, right? He created the Model Ford, and he said people have to be able to have a middle-class wage in order to be able to buy these cars. So I'm going to make sure that that's what I do. The people who make my cars are going to be able to afford my cars. That thinking has completely disappeared from the marketplace. And until we get it back, I don't know that we will have people that are going to be out there who are able to afford the products that everybody's trying to sell. Get as many skills in your skill set as you possibly can. You can't just be a good writer. You can't just be a good journalist. You also have to know how to do photography. You have to know how to edit video. The ones that are winning are the ones that are doing it with ethics. Right? It's the people that are very honest with what they're doing, that are incredibly transparent, that are talking about what they're doing and how they're doing it, that are the most successful.